Right, so welcome back to Hangar Talk. This is episode
2.
Excellent, good. Episode 2 of Hangar Talk. We're here at Eagle Air Hangars, who have graciously hosted us for a second time. And just to bring in our host, Eagle Air is a flight training organization based out of Wonderboom Airport. They provide PPL training, private pilot license training, night rating, commercial pilot license, multi-engine instrument rating, as well as ATPL training. Eagle Air has one of the most cost-effective flight simulators, FNPT2, I believe, in the country. We have a number of people with SA license holders who come and renew their license here from the Middle East, from China, and so on and so forth. So, Eagle Air, if you're interested, come on through. All of us instructors here, we are more than welcoming to have you on board and would like to get your PPL or any of the licenses as quickly as possible. Perfect. So today we still have our co-host. Who is our co-host?
Mike Whiskey.
Mike Whiskey.
Donald.
Welcome back, Donald. It's good to have you back. And then we also have our lovely guest.
Pauline.
Lovely. Once again, I cut you off over there, actually. Please tell us your name again.
Pauline.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And then behind the scenes, who do we have behind the scenes?
Hey guys, it's Lady Maverick.
Exactly, Lady Maverick. Lady Maverick.
I'm very sure there's someone who recognizes that sound, that voice.
That's
Nobody's
true.
gonna
Yeah,
recognize
there must
me.
be someone who recognizes the voice.
Some people
Well,
recognize
people
that
that know,
voice.
yeah.
But
If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know.
you don't know, and that's how it's gonna stay. That's how it's gonna stay. Okay, lovely. So now, Pauline, before we get into the topic that we're discussing today, please can you introduce yourself? Where are you from? And what interested you to get into aviation?
Well, I am from Botswana, and my love affair with aviation is tricky because growing up, it's not one of the options that I had actually considered.
Mm-hmm.
But after completing my Form 5, which is matric this side, they always have a career fair back at home. And that is where, we're exposed to a lot of the different opportunities that we can have. And that is where I saw the first aviation school, and I was like, let me see. And now it's the love of my life.
And now we're here.
You're
You're here. You're working towards your commercial pilot license. Right now, you have your PPL exams. Have you started?
Yes, I'm currently working on my exams.
Lady Maverick knows about the exams as well.
Yeah, they gave me such a hard time. It was not easy.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the transition from PPL exams to CPL exams took me so much by shock. But yeah, I'm almost done, and
Almost done.
Yeah.
You are actually almost done.
yeah, I'm left with.
Congratulations. I
Thank
have to say.
you. Thank
Good
you so
job
much.
maintaining the course,
Yeah.
despite the
Hiccups
You-
along the way. You know. Like, it was not easy. Yeah.
oh yeah. Well, for me, thank goodness that part of my life is
It must be nice.
it's
But it never ends.
Yeah,
Don't be
I was
so
about to
glad.
say
It
that.
never
that's
ends.
true. That's true.
It never ends.
It never ends.
It never ends. Remember,
It's-
remember, you're now flying. You're an instructor,
Mhm.
flying the Pipers and the Cessnas.
Mhm.
But they'll get a point where you'll have to move the way up. So you'll have to
Yes.
do the technical type ratings. They're still there.
Yes.
Oral
Yeah.
examinations are still there.
Yes.
So it's just
But I think it
I'd
gets
say it's
easier.
just a rite
though.
of passage. Yeah.
I think
Does it?
well, I think over time it gets easier.
With the more experience you have.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know about getting easy. I think you just get more resilient.
Yeah.
It's a thing of
Yeah,
you
you
failed so
get
many
used to them.
times. It's like I can just keep on going.
Yeah.
It's not about it being easy. I don't think.
Mm.
Yeah.
You're just used to the whole process of it
Yes.
all.
You
Right.
got the hang of it, and you're just like, I'm gonna keep on going.
You're gonna brush it off.
Yeah.
Okay, so Botswana,
Mm-hmm.
PPL, working on your exams,
Mm-hmm. And our building, yeah.
and our building, which brings us to our topic of hand.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of our building, what did you just do recently in order to build your hours?
Well, We had a beautiful experience that Eagle Air offers.
Mm-hmm.
We had a flyaway.
Yes, we did. Yes,
where
we
you
did.
get a good number of hours. Plus, it's fun with all the places that you get to see. It's a week of traveling, basically. You're building hours.
It
and
was fun.
It was fun.
It was absolutely
Yeah.
fun. We did it.
We did it.
In fact, we were in the same plane.
Yeah, you were my
We were-
safety pilot.
There we go. There we go. I enjoyed that.
Oh, you were the safety pilot?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
There
That was
was.
your
Safety
first time being
pilot
on a
for the whole
flyaway as well,
flight.
right?
Yes, yes, it was. It
Oh,
was.
okay,
It was.
cool.
So I
It
Like,
was a
now-
learning
now that's
experience
where-
for both of us.
exactly. It was learning for the
Yeah.
both of us.
That's why I become now a good listener, because I've not gone for any.
Right.
But I'd like to know how
Well,
it
there's-
happens and how
there's
it
more
goes.
coming.
Yeah.
They always have them.
But
more.
probably they'll find me like done with my course, because remember I'm now almost starting the multi-engine. So
Yes, must do the flyaway in the multi-engine.
yeah, maybe when I'm an instructor, then
Ooh,
I
That sounds
become.
expensive.
But at what cost?
Sounds expensive. Maybe.
But the
At
hours
what
are
cost?
worth it.
Yeah.
Mm.
The thing I say about hours, hours are your hours.
Yes.
Whether you do the
That's the
extra
thing.
hours, whether you do,
That's
they are
the thing.
still your hours.
Yes.
So, yeah, it
Just
adds
double
up.
the cost.
Yeah.
That's all. So okay, and then also Lady Maverick went on a flyaway, but not this year. When did you go?
I can't tell because it's gonna give me away. You guys
Oh.
are yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I went.
Yes.
Not this year, but some
Some
other
other
time.
time.
Yeah, and it was fun. It was super fun. It was my first time. Yeah, I think it was such a wholesome experience. I learned a lot, to be honest, and I messed up a lot along the way.
Oh, hey,
And-
don't worry.
Yeah,
We're
We
gonna
all
get
have
into that.
we're gonna
experience.
get
Yeah,
into
yeah.
that. But yeah,
Yeah.
super wholesome.
Okay, excellent. So, the first part of the flyaway. Well, what is the flyaway, actually, Donald? I know you haven't been.
I
but
haven't
you
been
can-
in one, but I have an idea of what it is.
Yes.
So basically, I think if I don't get it right, you can correct me on it. It's a program arranged by the school
Mm-hmm.
where you get to fly in a group,
Yes.
different aircrafts, to different destinations for a certain number of days. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for Eagle Air, I understand it's about 4 days, and you get to come
five,
from about 5. Yeah.
It depends.
5, 6 days. Yeah.
Ours was 5 days. How many days was yours?
How many days
Ours
was it?
was 6.
6 days.
days.
Okay.
Where you get to come from Pretoria, somehow move towards the west of South Africa, down south to the coast, move along the coast, come back to the east, then back to Pretoria. It's actually a very interesting trip
It is. It is.
because you get to experience like all sorts. The interesting thing about South Africa, the weather is so different.
It's
Like
complex.
when you go west, it's something different. When you go to the coast,
it's different.
something entirely different
Yes.
depending with the season. When you go to the east, you experience something different. I think, that's
How would
that's
you
what the
how would you
flyaway
compare
is.
the weather to Kenya?
Kenya is a relatively smaller country, to be honest. So the kind of weather you experience, there isn't much discrepancy when you compare to South Africa. Because remember, the west coast of South Africa is far away from Pretoria.
Yeah.
And they experience a whole different weather there when
Yeah,
it comes to, for example, let's take an example of summer. Most of the time there it's clear, but when you come to the eastern side, Pretoria, it's havoc, thunderstorms and all
it's
that.
raining. And
Yeah, yeah.
There's rivers.
Exactly.
In our compound.
Everything is flooding here and
Yeah.
there. But for Kenya being a smaller country in terms of size, I think the weather you get to experience is almost standard
Okay.
across the country. So when it's raining, it's almost
raining
raining
everywhere.
Yeah, almost raining everywhere. When there's drought, it's almost
Everywhere.
sunny everywhere. Yeah. So I think
So-
that's the difference. So when it comes to planning, at least in Kenya, when I see it's raining, and then I'm like, okay, it must be raining everywhere. So
There's no point
flying,
in me
yeah.
even taking off.
Yeah, but in South Africa, I can be like, okay, weather's not that good in Pretoria, but at least I can go to Uppington. It's sunny there right now. Yeah,
Okay.
so I think that's the difference.
Okay.
That's the difference.
So in planning, actually,
Yeah.
which is the first phase of the flyaway, how many weeks did you guys take to plan for the flight?
Actually, we started the planning couple weeks ahead. I don't have the exact number. I think we started January, late January.
Okay. And when did we left somewhere in March,
Was it?
right?
And then we left. Yeah, we left on the 9th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's call it 5 weeks.
Yeah,
Or so 5
some-
6
yeah.
weeks of planning. And Lady Maverick, how many weeks did you guys take to plan?
We took 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Yeah,
bad.
but it wasn't every day. It was a thing of
1 day a week.
1 day a week.
Mm.
Okay.
So 1 day a week we meet with the instructors and they see our planning, and then we meet as students, and then just kind of give each other a few pointers here and there, and then that's it.
Lovely. Yeah. Sorry, guys. There's
There's a distraction here.
our team leader for the flyaway. Doing a nice distraction. there.
Making funny faces.
Okay. So, in that planning, Pauline, what was the first meeting like? What did you guys have to prepare?
Yeah, no?
A lot.
a lot. Because when you fly locally, you really only plan like the flight, the weather,
Yeah.
whatever, no terms. You do your flight, you come back. But when you're going away for a week, there's a lot more involved. From, first of all, the actual planning with our maps and the basic navigation planning. And then we have to take into account the other things. Fuel. At every point, we're going to plan, even the alternates. We have to take into account where we're going to stay. Has to be within budget, but we also want to stay somewhere
Comfortable.
comfortable.
You don't want to be in a ratchet.
Because you're going to
place.
fly in the morning. You don't want to wake up grumpy.
Exactly.
And the transport as well, from
yes.
the airport to where you're going.
Hotel,
Because
accommodation.
you don't want to be stuck at the airport for 2 hours and you need to sleep.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm forgetting something, but basically that's it.
Okay. There was also.
Oh, and the maintenance.
There you
Yes.
go. Yeah. Mike Whiskey.
I just wanted to ask,
Yeah.
when it comes to the transport, it's a bit, especially in South Africa, I've noticed some of the transport. Bloemfontein is one of the capital cities, I believe, yeah?
Yes, it is actually.
I remember my past experience with Bloemfontein earlier this week, finding transport, especially, what is it called, private transport. If it was to look for taxi, maybe to go from one place to another. By taxi, I mean cab. I understand taxis mean
Yes,
something
yes.
different in South Africa. Yeah, so finding
Yes, that's true.
finding a cab is quite difficult in some of these cities. So how was the planning? Did you have like an airport shuttle coming to take you, or?
Well, we had to take that into account, like which place specifically it was and what resources it had. I was actually the one that was responsible for transport.
Yeah.
So when I was doing my research, I would look at the actual aerodrome that we're going to. If they have an airport shuttle.
Yeah.
If not, are there cabs, like the ones we have on the apps and stuff? Or if none, I would have to find
The
a
metered
local
taxi.
person
Yeah.
that I could call to book ahead so that they could be available for us on the day.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah, because you had a bit of an incident in Bloemfontein. We won't get into it, but yes.
Finding transport was one of the major things because that town, I can say it's technically dead. It's not that active compared to Pretoria and Johannesburg. It's a little bit laid off and all that.
Bloemfontein doesn't have
a life.
Like Uber and Bolt and all of those things.
And technically, when compared to Pretoria, it's more of a laid-off city.
Yes,
and I was surprised it's a capital city, but it's quite, compared to Cape Town and Pretoria and the other capital cities, I think it's quite more relaxed for a capital city. In fact, I'd label Johannesburg as a capital city before I go to Bloemfontein as one.
That's true.
It is.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so then, maintenance. What was?
And we also had to take into account healthcare facilities in case anything would happen.
Healthcare facilities.
Yeah.
Wow, who was in charge of that?
Well, in our group, it was Nonofo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. What was Simin planning?
I think she was on fuel.
Fuel, okay.
Yeah, if I remember correctly.
Okay, fuel. Oh, yes.
And the landing fees as well for Aviation.
Yeah.
So basically, everybody had their own role.
Yeah, we got the separated tasks.
Yeah.
You know.
It's very interesting because to be honest, I thought for the flyaway, every pilot for himself, flying for us all.
we're a group, we're one team.
Yeah.
We work together.
That's
You work
part
together.
of the beautiful experience because
Right.
you have these people flying with you.
So at least if you handle one task, you can perfect that particular task.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's very
It's
interesting.
kind of like a squadron. you
Yeah.
know. But obviously we don't have fighter jets, but they're planes nonetheless. Okay, so that was the planning part. And did you have to draw out the maps
Yes.
for every single? Okay, so what maps did you use? Was it the 1 million?
1:1 million, yeah.
And you stuck it together.
Well, everybody had their own
Way.
way of doing things.
things,
I
yeah.
personally stuck mine together
Okay.
because it was just to see all
How
of
it looked
SA,
like, yeah.
and it was nice to see that whole big line.
Yeah.
But I remember Simon just laminated hers individually.
Oh,
she
and then-
preferred that.
Okay.
Also because it was tricky aligning all of them. They're different.
That's
and also
true.
getting
They're not
everything in
perfect,
line. It's
yeah.
not perfect, but as a creator, you can possibly get it to be.
So then,
That brings me to another question
Yeah.
on the planning with the map
Yeah.
and all that. What was your primary source of navigation? Did you use the GPS or did you go the old way of dead recording, finding your way with time and
let's
distance?
ask both
Yeah.
Pauline and Lady Mavic. In
Yeah.
fact, I want to ask Lady Mavic that question. Your maps.
Wait, why do you want to ask me in particular that question? Why me?
Because we need to bring you in.
Yeah. No, but I'm listening. I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, your maps. Did you do it like Pauline?
No, I
or-
didn't. I just felt like for me, it was a bit impractical to have the whole of South Africa in a cockpit, and I'm there trying to figure it out. So I did it all individually, and then each leg of the flight, I would just pull out the one that I needed.
Oh,
Again,
okay.
I didn't even use a map, to be honest. I just used GPS. But the map was just to get an idea of where we were going, how we were going to get there, and yeah, just the nav process of it.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
most importantly, I think a backup plan.
A
Yeah.
backup,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
It was
because
for-
GPS devices
You can
they
fail.
do fail. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, the whole GPS thing, it's legally speaking, I believe it's termed as an uncertified GPS. Not
That's
like
true because mostly, especially if you're using the iPad and the phones.
Yeah.
I think now that all of us here have flown quite severally, you get to some point and then you get a GPS lost.
Exactly.
Signal is
Mm.
lost.
Yeah.
Exactly. And actually, the accuracy of the GPS is not.
It's not that
It's
much.
not 100%.
Even though now with the current devices, if you buy the latest devices, they're able to connect all the GPS satellites that you have, the GLONASS, GPS, and
yes,
the
yes,
Baidu.
yes.
Is it Baidu, the one from
Yeah,
China?
it's
Yeah.
Known as Baidu. Yes.
Yeah, so at least you
Buy
have
something.
Yeah, so at least you have all those different satellites that the phones can connect to. So they are becoming more and more reliable. Now you can even see most of the airlines are integrating the iPads into the cockpit because of all that reliability. But
Yes, 'cause
again,
you can even get what's it called, 4Flight on the iPad
yeah,
or any tablet device, and then what it actually does, it syncs if you have a G1000 or a Garmin system. Garmin, what's the other one called? Pro.
Aviation.
Avidyne. There's another one. Pro something. I can't
what
remember.
is it?
But you
Yeah.
can sync the iPad or the tablet with the GPS system on board, which is certified and has better accuracy. You can even buy a little GPS device,
Yeah.
which has which is certified as well, and has better accuracy. Obviously, that's very expensive. It's probably like 10,000 rand or something like that.
It's for the big boys.
Hey.
Well, but the thing about aviation,
Yeah.
the most interesting thing about the cost thing, the good thing about aviation devices, they're durable.
Yeah.
Like I bought my headset 6 years ago,
Yes.
and
Still
it
working.
still works,
Yeah.
not broken. So yeah, it's worth
Yeah.
spending that
'Cause it'll
money.
last.
Yeah, because
It'll
it will
last
last.
for
You
long.
won't have to bother buying it
Yeah.
anytime soon again. the
But
same
for
thing.
us, what we used is Sky Demon.
Sky Demon,
Did you also use?
Yeah, I use Sky Demon.
Okay, so Sky Demon, which it worked for the purposes of our flight.
Yeah.
It was
To be
accurate.
honest, I've not met. I think for a student pilot, it's amazing. It's super simple to use, super convenient.
for VFR.
For VFR, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So yeah, it
And
was
it's
perfect
the
for
most
me.
affordable.
And it's the most affordable as well,
Yes.
and it gets the job done.
gets
You
the job
won't
done.
get
Yeah.
It really
lost.
does.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it tells you everything. I mean, it will. I mean, Skydemon needs to sponsor us. Hi, Skydemon. So,
Signs.
I mean, but yeah, it's very nice. It like gives you like the NOTAMs.
Yeah.
If you
What's
wanna
available there at the airfield,
Exactly.
the frequencies. So for VFR, like you said, Donald, it's amazing.
All the
amazing, yeah.
airspaces. It
And then
guides
the
you
other
through
thing,
the whole thing.
Yeah.
it displays the NOTAMs. For example, if you read through the NOTAMs, to be honest, I agree with people who say the NOTAM system needs to be changed because we are still using the old telegram style of NOTAMs where there's a lot of short
Short
The heavily
abbreviations
coded
and
ones.
all that, and
Yes,
you have
yes.
to master some of them.
Yes,
Some of
yes.
them you have to look up.
What does
And
this
then
mean?
to
Yeah.
make matters worse, the coordinates, where they tell you, okay, we are introducing a restricted area.
It's not easy.
Yes, it's not easy
it's
to
not
figure out the
convenient,
coordinate on the
actually.
map. But now, when you come to the GPS for something that's in, for example, Skydemon, it's able to pick up the NOTAMs and then display, draw the entire. For example, if there's a new restricted area, it picks up the coordinates and then is able to display it on real time with updated NOTAMs on the map. So it's a difficult thing to do, for especially for the flyaway. Here you are planning a 4-day trip. NOTAMs are usually updated every day. You'll find a new NOTAM tomorrow.
Because
And
if you,
then
if you
all
think
of a
about
sudden you have to
the-
plot everything on the map. It's quite hectic. Yeah.
if you think of the AIPs, if you go to en route section
Yeah.
and you want to look up the danger area or the prohibited area for a certain place, it gives you the coordinates, or the TMA. It'll give you the coordinates. So now you can't picture it in your head where the boundaries are. You have to go figure it out.
Yeah.
Go search for it.
You literally
dig
have to
for
go
it.
so yeah, Skydemon makes life a lot easier.
It really
Or even
does.
the drone places where they just tell you there's a drones flying out of line. What is it called? The line of sight.
Yeah.
And then they've given you, first of all, it's a very regular area. It's not a triangle. You see a rectangle or a triangle or a circle.
Yep.
It's very easy because for a circle, they give you a point and a radius. They tell you this point, 5 nautical miles. It's easy to figure it
Oh,
out.
that would make sense.
Yeah. And then for a rectangle, at least they'll give you 4 coordinates.
Yeah.
So it's easy to plot on the map and put coordinates here.
Yes,
But
yes.
that's not always the case.
Yes.
Sometimes they give you a very weird figure. For example, Pretoria GF1. It's not a rectangle.
Victoria GF1 is like
Some weird shape.
some
So
random shape.
it becomes difficult to figure that thing out on the map.
Yeah.
And the map is not. There's no update on the map like everyday update.
Yeah.
A map will be updated maybe after 2 years, and then they go back, redraw all the areas. But I think the GPS makes more sense for something like a
It
flyaway
does.
because
It
at least you
does.
get the updated coordinates and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it must be difficult flying on the map.
Well,
oh.
yeah, go on, go on.
It's not the most convenient, but having a grasp of flying with a map, I think it's very important.
Yeah. Yeah.
You start from there before you get too comfortable with the GPS.
Exactly.
I
exactly.
agree. I
What
agree.
what do you? And this is to everybody. What is the purpose nowadays during your PPL training to first learn on the map before you start using GPS and all of that?
I think when it comes down to the planning itself, because you physically have to learn how to measure the distances, get the distances yourself, get the true tracks, do the actual calculations to get the magnetic headings, account for wind, all of that, do your drift lines, physically see the route that you're going to fly. So you get a grasp of that. Whereas, in as much as, yes, the GPS will show you, okay, you're on this heading, but behind that, the theory, if you don't really know it, might not make sense, or you might get too comfortable, but it does help. It is important to get a grasp of learning how to plan with the map.
So then now, let's say for example you had gone to the US
Yeah.
to do flight training. A lot of, well, not a lot, but many more training aircraft over there have G1000 cockpits. So on the right hand side, the right hand screen is a multi, what's it? Is it MFD?
Yeah, the multifunction
PFD
display
and,
and then the primary flight
yes,
display.
exactly. So then, which is your map, your moving map. So a lot of students there don't even, I don't know if they do plan it on the map, but for flying, they use the moving map. So they don't really have much experience in flying by map. They are magenta line pilots from the beginning, right? So now, if you did that, how would you have felt? Let's say your map fails. Okay.
That's the thing now. If you look at the modern cockpits, for example, even let's just go through something like a 747. They usually have a backup. It could be vacuum or electrical that you can't switch off, maybe a backup for 4 hours. And if you look at that backup very well, it gives you only the 6-pack information.
Yes.
Altitude,
It's basic.
Yes.
attitude, speed, and sometimes some of them gives you direction. But other than that, if it doesn't give you direction, you have to rely on the magnetic compass. So the reason why it's important to really learn the date reckoning skills and the skills of using a map. Find yourself in a situation whereby your phone doesn't have power. Your DI wandered. You find yourself in a very unknown position. Let's say your aircraft is not equipped to the standard instrument, so you have no VOR, or even you're out of range of the nearest VOR. Then you have to come back to your map. You don't know how to use your map. You don't know how to use your flight computer.
Exactly.
Or you even left your flight computers and rulers at home because you're relying on the map. So you find yourself in a very tricky situation. Remember, the aircraft has a fixed endurance. It won't stay airborne forever.
Yes.
So you really need to figure out where you are and be able to find the nearest place you can go before you find your way back, or
True.
you need to put the aircraft down before you're out of time.
Exactly.
And luckily in South Africa, there's almost coverage, ATC coverage everywhere. So you can literally call
radar.
ATC,
And
and then
to be
ask them, okay,
vectors.
fine, guys, I'm lost. I need some help. Give me vectors.
Yeah.
But you might find yourself in a situation whereby the last time we flew to Bloemfontein, the radios were down in some sectors. So even the ATC was like, okay, I can't.
Was it central?
Yeah, the central.
Or was it central?
Yeah.
I've had so many
problems.
with not central, but with
This,
what did we
south.
have an issue with?
It
was south.
Yes.
South.
Johannesburg South.
19.5. So you find yourself in a situation whereby so you don't have a place where you can communicate, maybe because your radio has an issue, or just the receivers, the ground receivers have a problem.
Yes.
So you can't communicate to the people, they can't give you heading to fly. So what is your fallback? The map.
Exactly, the
Do
map.
you know how to use the map? No.
And
the map can be a really help, especially if you are on a big feature, because most of these maps, especially the dams, they're usually drawn in such a manner that it resembles the dam on the ground. Like literally, if you look at the picture,
Yes.
and because you're on a bad
shape,
view,
yeah.
you can see the same shape of the dam. So you're here, you know that you are overhead the dam. You don't know how to plot your way back. You can literally see airports around, but you don't know how to go to those airports. Then you find yourself in a very fixed situation. Though it's a very rare occurrence for that to find yourself in that particular situation, but it does happen.
Yeah.
It's better to be prepared.
It's better to be prepared.
Yeah.
So aviation doesn't. What I've realized about aviation, they don't teach you things that you're going to experience every day. They teach you worst scenario. That's why even if you're doing a type rating for an aircraft, they'll give you smoke in the cockpit. They'll give you all those emergency procedures. And those are not things you're going to experience every day. In
On
fact,
a daily basis.
a pilot will tell you we might end up flying your whole career without experiencing an engine failure. But they train you for that worst scenario just in case you experience
Because if it ever happens, you want to be ready.
You want to be
prepared and
ready
know
for
what
that.
to do.
So I think that's why it's still important to teach the map skills and the basic of navigations. In fact, if we didn't have maps, we'll still be using the stars. Nowadays, we're knowing how to
You'll be
navigate
using the stars at night.
the star constellations, how to navigate.
But
yeah. So it's
you've
still-
actually made me think of 2 points. The first one is the maps that you guys use. Is it half a mil or 1 mil? Which one do you use
You
predominantly?
can use both depending on
Yeah.
where you're going, right?
Okay.
And depending on the area, I think for Johannesburg area,
Yes.
the 1/500 gives a better glimpse because
Okay.
it's a very
Yes.
congested airspace.
It gives more detailing compared
Yeah.
to the one is
It
to 1
gives more
million.
detail. Now, have you ever used the 1 in 250?
No.
1,000, you haven't.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
So when I started my PPL training, I initially used the 250 chart, and it gives so much more detail of reference points. So when I started using that half a mil and 1 million, I thought, I don't even. There's nothing here.
Yeah.
How can I tell where I'm going?
Yeah.
So there's a 250 mil. Obviously, it's not convenient for
long
for
flights.
long flights, but for local flights, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Then, have you heard of the Gimli glider before? Yeah, Gimli glider.
No.
No?
Not heard of
Okay,
it.
so back in, I think it was the early 2000s, someone has to. Lady Maverick needs to be a fact checker
I
for
do.
us.
You know what? I actually need to connect to the Wi-Fi, guys.
You
and
do,
just fact check for you
and just
guys.
fact check and just make sure that
Never
we're-
unchecked.
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna come prepared next time, guys. Like this was super impromptu for me, but yeah.
But it's working.
yeah.
It's working.
Mhm.
So Gimli glider, I believe, is what it's called. It was an Airbus A330 flying from.
Oh, the air transit.
Was it at Air Transit? I'm not sure, but it was flying from Canada, perhaps, or the US,
Yeah.
going to Spain, somewhere there in
And then
Western
they did
Europe.
they did the miscalculation of fuel.
They did a miscalculation of fuel.
Ooh.
They didn't do a miscalculation of fuel. There was a fuel leak.
Uh,
There was a fuel leak, I think, on the right wing, and then as they were calculating, because they do feeders as well, every however long it was, an hour
Yeah.
or 30 minutes, however long, and then they saw our fuel is a bit off, and I don't think we'll be able to make it to wherever they're going. And they thought, okay, we have just enough. We're going to divert to an island along the way. It's an Air Force base. So they said, okay, we're going to divert. And as they're diverting, because they didn't know it was a fuel leak, they were losing a lot more fuel than expected. And the fuel ran out. So everything shut off. Your map also, your MFD, right?
you lose the generator.
You lose.
Things go blank.
Everything goes blank.
All of a sudden, the vacuum system 6-pack.
Exactly, just the 6-pack.
Not even the full 6-pack.
No, it's
like,
not.
I think you just have the 3 information: altitude,
Yes.
attitude, and speed.
So in the feeders that they do, they actually also check their position, their coordinates. Because when you're doing, as I understand it, and I'm hoping some oceanic pilot is watching this
And can comment
and can comment.
please
Yeah.
comment down below.
Thank you very much. So as you are navigating, you're actually inputting the coordinate. You have checkpoints, and those checkpoints are coordinates, and you make sure that you are in track with the GPS system, the INS, inertial navigational system. And so they had that as paper backup, and they know, okay, our last checkpoint, we were there, whatever, 20 minutes ago.
You're supposed to be burning this fuel.
Burning this fuel. This is our heading. So we're probably somewhere over here. So we need to turn X amount of heading to go to our alternate destination. So that's what they did. So basically, the basics in PPL, it works. You need to learn how to use a normal map, a compass, and a watch.
Totally. I mean, I
Definitely.
think it just boils down to being aware. Situational awareness is so important.
Exactly, yeah.
You must always be ahead of your aircraft. You must always know what is going on, that you can anticipate any kind of situation. So always be aware of where you are, what is going on, where you need to
100%.
be.
And
100%.
also just know, if push comes to shove, you might have to turn off your electrical system.
You might have to turn it off.
Yeah, or it can just fail, the electrical.
That's
We
true.
usually practice electrical failures even at night.
Yeah.
So once you lose the electrical failures, the systems, the aircraft, the GPS you're relying on might go off.
Exactly.
So that's
Alternator
when you
might
need to
fail.
go
You might
back.
only be on your battery for
Yeah.
the next 20 minutes. By the way, our fellow colleague here is about to start his plane. So guys, if it's going to be a bit of a loud noise, don't mind.
Bear with us.
Bear with us, but the show continues.
It's Hangar Talk. Where to hang out?
Exactly. Perfect. Okay, so now, the routing that both Lady Maverick and we did, actually. What was the routing?
Well, our flight routing was actually from Wonderboom, Bloemfontein.
Oh, by the way,
just-
for our international audience, because I was doing a live stream once, and somebody commented, "Hi from Algeria." I said, "Oh, okay."
Okay.
Shout out to Algeria.
Shout out to Algeria.
Yeah, and my Kenyan audience.
And
as
comment
well.
where you're from, guys. Like wherever you are from the world, comment down below that we can give you a big shout out.
Please do, please do. There they go.
There we
starting
go.
up.
Piper, isn't it?
Cessna.
Cessna.
Wow.
Are you shocked?
Yeah.
The Cessnas are usually.
Yeah, Cessna just cranks and
Piper
it starts.
thing.
Okay. So they don't know Pretoria. They don't know Vonderboom. So we need to explain geographically where
Okay.
Vonderboom
Okay.
is. It's in Pretoria, and Pretoria is in the northeast of the country. Obviously, there's Google, so they can Google it.
Yeah.
They can Google it. Okay,
Yeah.
so from Pretoria.
Okay.
Mhm.
We're basically, for the first part, we're flying west, right? So we go inland to Bloemfontein, where the plan, refuel, and then head to Uppington, where we would spend the night. The destination for the first day. And then, well, initially our planning was Springbok, but
We'll talk about what happened.
we'll talk
there.
about what
Yeah,
happened
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
But we did Beaufort West, and then we went to Winelands in Cape Town on the coast, and that is where we started our coastal leg. Cape Town, George, spending the night in Port Elizabeth.
Mhm.
East London, destination Durban, we spent the night, and then we flew direct back from Durban.
So we flew direct back from Durban. Lady Maverick, you guys, did you fly direct from Durban to?
Yeah, we did.
You did.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so the wind was it a tailwind for you guys as well?
It was. We arrived here super quick. It was a tailwind.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's lucky. It
We
was
took
lucky.
some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, Cessna or a.
I was in a Piper.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
was it that one?
Yeah. Yeah, we're not going to get into that.
No.
But I was flying a Piper.
Specific Piper. Okay. So right. So but we took 3.5 hours from Durban to back to
Back to
Pretoria.
Pretoria.
Do you
Yeah.
remember how long?
I don't really remember. I mean, if I jog my memory, it was a while back. So
Yeah.
I can't really give you definitive hours on.
Okay,
yeah.
but we know like Pipers are
They
fast.
they go.
Yeah.
They move.
faster, a lot faster
Yeah.
than Cessnas. Okay,
Well,
so
unless
yes.
you're flying SSB.
or SSB.
Yeah, it's a very nice
Different
aircraft.
story.
Even the Cessnas are specific. She liked to take her time.
Yes, I always like to definitely take but that was beneficial for you because
Because
I
that's what
really
the
got
whole
to
point
build
was,
up.
right?
yes,
Is to,
to
like
get
our
hours,
bills.
to get hours.
Yeah.
All right, so the first like Pretoria to Bloemfontein, and we're gonna ask the both of you actually. How was it? How did you find it?
I loved it. I was so
Yeah?
excited. I mean, I was pumped. I was like,
Yeah.
oh
Okay.
my gosh, this is the first leg. We're about to have a good time. It happened super quick.
Mm.
We landed. Quick stop. Hi guys. Oh my God, we just started. You know? And
Fill up.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
really nice. So Bloom was like super quick and easy. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, yeah, like she said, because you've just taken off. You know, you're going on somewhat of a vacation.
Yes,
Kind
yes,
of.
yes, yes.
So it's exciting. You know,
Yes.
like, oh, we're doing this, and all of you guys are taking off
At
one
the
after
same
the
time.
other.
Yeah, that was a fun bit when we all started
you
and then we're all
all started at the
taxiing
same time,
together.
all calling into radio. It was like,
Right.
oh,
we're going.
this
we're
is nice.
yes.
So when you guys are flying the flyaway, you don't fly as a formation flight.
No.
It's individual flights.
So that's a good point because on the flight plan, oh, thank you for blowing us, Mr. Mysterious, Mr. Team Leader. Okay, now they're going.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So on the flight plan, you know, there's a section. I can't remember what it is, but it says number
Number of aircrafts, yeah.
of aircraft,
Yep.
right? So obviously we put in one. But if you're a formation,
You would file one flight plan and then
have like 5 on
And then
it.
one person handles the radio.
One person handles the radio.
Yeah.
But then you'll have to now fly as a
Tight
group.
formation.
Yeah.
I think there's
And
usually that horizontal limit, the separation
there?
between the
That's
aircraft.
actually a good
it's-
question.
It is in the airlow. Actually,
Oh.
there is a vertical
For formation flights,
and
there
horizontal.
is.
Yeah, for formation flights, there is a vertical limit
Yeah, guys.
and horizontal limit. You can't just fly away from each other as much as you want.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know this.
we're learning.
I can't remember
No,
it
there
right,
is.
but I
There
think
Okay.
is. There
Yeah.
is.
Okay.
I'll
I think
fact
it
check
was-
right now.
she's
Okay.
gonna
yeah.
Lady
Yeah,
Maverick.
you can just check it for us. The thing about airlow, you always have to make references.
Yeah, always reading the airlow book all the time.
practical. It's
There is
practical
limits.
application.
Yeah.
Technically, you just can't fly as far as you want from each other.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Very true.
Okay.
But yeah, so but we did individual
Individual
flight plans.
flights.
And also I think it was better for a learning experience because every aircraft had to do its own radio.
Yeah.
And you know, I think the biggest misconception as well is like because you're from Pretoria and you feel like, oh, it's Pretoria, it's not as big as maybe Cape Town. The thing is, if you do a formation, sometimes they can get overwhelmed, like the air traffic controller.
Yeah,
It's like all
yeah.
these 7 aircrafts coming in all at once.
In really busy airspaces.
What's going
yeah.
on in very busy airspaces. So it's better that they handle each aircraft
individual
one at a
aircraft.
time.
But
I
I believe
see.
even if you are to fly a formation, for example, you might consider like breaking the breakout quite earlier before you enter. You can depart as one from one double, yeah. But once you get to a busy airspace like Cape Town, you break into individuals for
Individually.
the approach, for the approach phase. Because it is fun. It seems fun to fly a formation. All of a sudden, the wings
Well,
are just here. and
I mean,
here.
we didn't. The Pretoria to Bloom, we didn't do formation, but when we got into the Johannesburg Special Rules
Yeah.
West and South,
Mm.
Ekwinde Lima caught up to us
Because
really quickly.
we were the
Quite.
first to take off.
We were the first to take
and
off.
PYT, Papa and Kitango and Ekwinde Lima, they just
Wha! Left us.
breezed past us.
So that was a sort of Papa
It-
and Kitango was a formation for like 2 minutes.
Well,
'Cause-
because you can see them, you've taken off, and then you see them. Then they're like, "Oh, I see you." Yeah.
Because he was like, "Oh, we're at your 8 o'clock position.
Mm.
Now we're at your 3 o'clock. Bye."
And that also brings me to another question. Yeah. Now that you haven't filed for a formation flight. Yeah.
Yes.
So basically, you've not discussed. That's a presumption. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You've not discussed because for a formation flight, all of you will sit down the PIC of the aircraft, discuss how you're going to separate, who's going to be on the left,
Yes,
who's going to be on the right.
yes.
So how was it in terms of coordinating the levels that you guys are going
Well,
to fly
we
so that
we
it doesn't become a
knew-
factor?
You mean for the entire
As
flight?
For the
Since
entire
we're
flight.
taking
Let's
off
say
like
you're
one
coming
route.
from Pretoria to basically all of you are flying the same leg at almost the same time here, and considering the the semicircular rule, all of you have to choose certain levels along the way. Yeah. So how do you plan yourselves like for the flyaway so that you can remain adequate separation?
Well, seeing as I wasn't doing the planning.
Yeah.
Well, this is where a lot of radio work really comes in.
Yeah.
Because yes, you are flying on certain frequencies, and it is important, especially when you're flying as a group like that, to really monitor the different frequencies.
Yeah.
So thankfully there is a free frequency. So what we would do, especially if there's something important to discuss, is the leader
1,
would
2,
be
3,
like,
4, 5.
yes,
1, 2, 3, decimal 4, 5.
decimal 4, 5.
It really helped
It
us.
really did. He'd
Um,
call company and we would discuss whatever it is that
Mhm.
needed to be discussed.
Numbers, as it's called.
And that brings me to a very, now that you've spoken about company, does South Africa have like company frequencies?
You can on your flight plan you can actually request for a specific call sign.
Frequency? Or because the reason why I'm asking is because most of the companies in Kenya, you can actually ask to be assigned a certain company frequency, and then you can relay all the information back to your company depending on the flight. Yeah. So
Oh, I see.
Oh, that's
yeah, there's a
nice.
specific company frequency for every
Oh.
company.
Oh, I
on
see.
request. Yeah.
No, I
That's
don't
very
think that's here.
interesting.
Well, not to my knowledge. That's actually a very good question. Comment below if you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lady Maverick, were you able to find out if
I'll stand by on
The,
that.
the
Standing
separation. Yeah.
so
But
yes,
I think it should be 100 feet in
okay.
terms of altitude and about 1 nautical mile in terms of length maximum separation. Yeah, but just cross check that for us.
So we used numbers for separation purposes in terms of particularly if you're going through like the Johannesburg Special Rules area, but also when we were flying TIBA. Can anyone remember what TIBA stands for? It's a very good question, isn't it?
See, I knew until you asked me.
There you go. Traffic, information,
broadcasting.
something, somewhere there. But the point is, TIBA is similar to what is it called in other parts of the world, where you're just basically broadcasting your position to other traffic.
Basically, some controlled chaos.
Uncontrolled airspace broadcasting. So we would also on numbers discuss where's your position. I'm at your 8 o'clock. I'm at your 3 o'clock, whatever. And then you'll either be below you or above you, right? Or how many nautical miles are you from this particular reference point, right? Okay, I'm catching up to you. Those type of situations. But in the advisory airspace, flight following airspace, like Johannesburg Information South or Central, they would help coordinate our separation. They would say, oh, you've got this particular plane, it's 2 nautical miles away from you, below. In fact, Cape Town, when we were going from Beaufort West to Cape Town, remember, there was an unidentified traffic closing in really fast.
Yeah, I remember.
And they were passing on the right-hand side, and they were not in communication with Cape Town information.
And we had to keep on looking.
Yes, exactly.
And that's the other thing that scares me, because I remember even one time at the GF, just there flying, keeping lookout. Then all of a sudden you see an aircraft maintaining radio silent. Like, this is a danger area. Just the least you can
At
do
least say
is
hi, I'm here.
communicate.
I'm going to throw them under the bus.
Even if you're scared of
It's
communication.
Jabiroos. I don't know which Jabiru pilots they are,
Yeah.
but they keep not communicating on.
Even if you're not familiar with the area, because sometimes I find myself in the Johannesburg flying area, and you don't know the reporting areas. You see, like here in Pretoria, you know where Centerfield is.
Yes,
At least communicate, say you're flying northbound from this direction at this altitude, so that at least pilot familiar with the area can be able to know which altitude
roughly
you keep.
where
But you
you're
can't just pass the area quiet. Then all of a sudden someone is flying, reporting position, and then all of a sudden there's an
you see
aircraft
this
passing.
plane above, below you. Okay, so Bloemfontein, technical stop is what they're called when you're just doing refueling, anything technical for the aircraft.
So you don't sleep in Bloemfontein? Or
No,
the
we didn't.
first
We didn't sleep in Bloemfontein. So we refueled and then we took off Tiba to Uppington. What was interesting along the way to Bloemfontein is we had a bit of a technical issue as well with our transponder. It was a little intermittent at that time, and so Johannesburg Special Rules, Bloemfontein approach couldn't identify us fully in the TMA. They could see us, but it wasn't fully identifiable. So now, what did they ask us to do? They said we should work with them, and we had to keep on reporting our
They kept you
Position.
yeah.
So that's a learning point for anyone, because at any given point in time, any equipment on board can
Disappoint.
Can decide to go.
can fail, right? It'll either fail or intermittently fail, all of that stuff. So now that's a situation where, okay, as a backup, well, because I think Cape Town at one point lost their radar. It was either Cape Town or somewhere, and they were working with procedural procedures. So basically, they would ask the pilots, this is your Part 135, 121 aircraft, Boeing 737, all of that stuff. All right, guys, welcome back from that awkward intermission. We were talking about technical failures, and we had a technical failure right here.
It
Thought you
happens
died
everywhere.
on the camera. Hectic. So let's just get back right into it. What were we discussing?
You were going to tell us about the procedures at Cape Town. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. So we were saying, now I remember. Right. Radar. If radar fails, they fall back to procedures. So you have to tell. In fact, that's what Vonderboom does. I don't believe Vonderboom has radar.
It doesn't have radar. Yeah.
It doesn't have radar. So they rely on your position. So yes, they do, because they would ask you, oh, where is your position? Oh, I'm just 1 nautical mile east of November 1. Okay, then they can actually have a very good spatial awareness of
Where every aircraft
where
is.
everyone is and how to position you. So that's the same thing that radar with no radar would do in Cape Town. If there's equipment failure on the ATC side, or if there's equipment failure on the aircraft side. So, back to Bloemfontein. Okay, so we had a bit of transponder issues, and what helped us there, so it's Class G airspace, right? Because it's Class G airspace, you don't necessarily have to, you have a flight level and request, right? But you don't necessarily have to stay at that, whatever altitude or flight level you were at beforehand, you don't have to stay there. You can climb to whatever flight level you would like to because it is Class G. However, for good airmanship, it would be a good idea to wait until the information, whether it's Central, South, Johannesburg South, or whoever, to say there's no reported traffic at flight level 085, report
can go-
maintaining, right? Oh, is our friend back?
Oh no.
It's a different one.
Ah, it's another one.
Different one.
Oh, is it a different one?
Yeah.
Oh
That
my
can
god.
be
We're just
done.
speaking about the fallback procedures.
The what?
Fallback.
Yeah, that when we're flying, we have to talk to Johannesburg.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we
information.
have to talk to Johannesburg Central or Johannesburg Information South, and to have good airmanship, to actually wait until they say no reported traffic and you can climb, right? Excellent. Now, so our team leader, while we were flying to Bloom, because we maintained the altitude as we departed Johannesburg Special South, until we were waiting for them to tell us no reported traffic for flight level 085, and then our team leader on numbers said, hey, just climb and then just tell them whenever you were able to reach them. So we did that, which was good. So let's what about you, Lady Maverick? Did you have any challenges flying to Bloemfontein? Yours was smooth.
No, I did not have any challenges. Like I said, super smooth. Yeah. The first leg was really easy for me. Yeah. And then for you, Pauline?
Yeah, it was basically the whole radio.
Yeah, the
issue.
whole radio thing.
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
But other than that, it was pretty decent.
Yeah. Okay.
Lovely. So let's actually move on to the next part, which was flying to Upington. That was a long flight.
That was a long.
Yeah.
I got tired thinking
Upington.
about it.
It was long.
How long
It
was the
was
flight?
hot. It was
It
dry.
was
It was
hot.
long.
point
Oh,
something.
Yeah.
It was hot. It was bumpy. The terrain was not forgiving.
Yeah.
It was unnecessarily empty. It's nice to fly when you can. There's a lot of reference points,
Yeah.
but it's just
Yeah.
dry.
Yeah.
So, for lack of a better word, it was boring.
Exactly. In fact, I think the best reference point for Uppington was the solar panel. Did you guys
Oh
see it?
yes, you
Yes,
did.
yes.
That was
We saw
hectic.
those.
I didn't even know about that, and I was like, from a distance, it's like, what is that? What is that thing shining over? And then we looked at the map and stuff, and like, well, that coincides with Uppington. So I guess our reference point is going to be that shining. So apparently, it's a large tower, and you've got solar panels surrounding it,
Yeah.
and then they reflect onto that mirror type material, which obviously now charges or provides electricity. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was
Uppington,
interesting.
the approach into. Did you guys manage to land on runway 17 in Uppington?
I won't- I can't-
Did you land on the longest runway?
Yeah, we landed on the long one.
All of you did.
Yeah, we all did.
Oh.
Yeah, we all
You did not land on the longest
See, the
runway.
thing is, we could have,
Yeah.
but when you're coming in as a group, one aircraft after the other, the first aircraft managed to request it because when we were entering their space, they told us to use what's the other one?
Runway 19.
Yes, and then
And
the
Papa
first
Yankee
one
Tango
requested-
and Echo India Lima managed to get into 17, and those two are the fastest aircraft in the group. So they managed to get in, and then I think Charlie Alpha Foxtrot beat us.
Yes.
Yes, they did beat us.
So when they got cleared for 19, then they just went for 19, which
Yeah.
meant all of us behind them had to
Go to
Yeah,
one
air
nine.
traffic
Yeah.
control said, unfortunately, no. Runway 17 is not available. You may all land on runway 19 now. So,
And I feel for that guy. You can imagine being there the whole day, no traffic. All of a sudden, 6 traffic pop ups.
They actually like it. They
They
get
like it,
super
yeah?
excited when
Yeah.
they see, especially like student pilots coming
Yeah.
in, and they always ask us on the radio, "Where are you guys from? Oh my God, you guys are on a flyaway!"
Really?
Yeah.
They get super excited.
wow.
Because basically, there's no scheduled flights going
They
there
don't get a
anymore.
lot
Yeah.
of traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uppington, I mean, there was like 1 or 2 general aviation aircraft that were there.
1 or 2.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was nice. Uppington was nice. Did you guys go to that restaurant? There's a what was that restaurant
I
called?
feel like Uppington is like, sorry, you can.
Mm.
I like Uppington because it's like everything is in a mile of one another. Like we were staying in like a little lodge, and downstairs was like a restaurant, and then down the road was another restaurant, and then across was like, it was super convenient and like really nice. Like, yeah, I like it.
Were you guys staying along the river?
No.
Okay.
We were staying in the city center.
In the city center.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because we were, I don't know where we stayed somewhere.
I forgot the name of the hotel that we stayed at, but
Maybe we shouldn't mention it.
No, then if you forgot, it wasn't the best. Because best things
No, it
are
was a
never.
nice place. It was a
Yeah,
nice,
it
it was a
was
nice
enough, yeah.
hotel.
Mm.
It
I
was
like the way you're saying it was decent now. You're just actually
I'll
adding
leave it
to
at
my
that.
point.
It was decent enough.
It wasn't worth remembering.
I mean, but yes, it was okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was okay, and it was walking distance to some restaurant
I
on
think.
the
Should we
river.
mention the restaurant or
We can mention.
I
I just
think
don't
it
remember
was-
the name.
was it Red Ox or
The
something?
red something.
It was Ox, Red Ox.
Okay, Red Ox. Yeah.
I
Was
hope
the
I didn't-
food good?
Oh,
Because that's what matters.
Oh, did you
Like,
go?
If you guys are gonna
We
plug the
went
nation
there.
on a restaurant, the food has to be good.
the food was delicious. The food was delicious. The pricing was as
Was it
delicious as the
As the food.
as the food.
But you can tell from the moment you walk in because the setup in itself was
Mm.
gorgeous.
just amazing.
Yeah.
And then you get into it, it's nice, it's intimate. You get offered beverages the moment you get in. They look like they probably grow their own cows
It looks like it.
and probably maybe even make their own wine.
Mm.
It's that type of setup.
The meat
It
was
beautiful.
tender, I have to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so but now we had a bit of a dilemma in Uppington for the next day, because obviously we were going to go to Cape Town that day. This is probably the height of the trip. So first things first, we had a team meeting in the morning, and in that team meeting we found out that Springbok does not have fuel. Because we were going to stop in Springbok and get fuel. Springbok is some isolated
Yes.
airfield in the middle
Yeah.
of nowhere, pretty much. Now, what had actually happened was another school, a flight school in Cape Town, was doing their own flyaway, and they had priority in terms of fueling, or pre-booked in terms of fueling. So there was no fuel left for us. So we couldn't go to Springbok to refuel, because the idea was that we were going to fly Springbok and then south along the western coast of South Africa down to Cape Town. We were going to go through Langebaan. Did
Yes,
you guys
they-
go through
Yeah, we
Langebaan?
did.
Oh,
They
you're
allowed
gonna have to tell
That's
us.
nice.
In fact, tell us, how was that? How was that?
Okay, let's rewind a little bit. Yeah, what happened was we did Uppington, and then there was that fuel contamination saga. So, but Springs, luckily for us, did have, but it had to be rationed. So, like a particular amount, I can't really specify the amount of fuel. So then we were like, oh my gosh, we're about to get to the coast. We're excited. The approach into Springs was also really nice and interesting because there's like a huge hill mountain right by the runway. So that was fun. And then we routed straight to Cape Town, and then we went through
Langebaan.
Yeah.
Uh,
That was super easy though. I mean, there wasn't anything wow. It was just like, oh, they allowed us in.
Mhm.
Great.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, what did you guys say on the radio? Was it?
No, our team lead. Well, he wasn't really a team leader, but he's really good with radio. And then he was like, "I'll do the talking." Okay, guys, everybody, shh! Don't say anything.
Leave it to me.
I will do the talking. And then he told us. Well, he told them, "Can we please pass through your airspace, and it's just gonna be, I think, like 6 aircrafts at that time. Yeah, and they were like, yeah, sure, no problem, and then that was it.
So it was. It's probably Philippe. He's gonna come on the show. No, he's gonna come on the show.
No, it was not him though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Okay. Well, the other person we won't mention.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Person A.
Say again.
But guys, can
Person
we like?
A.
Oh wait, can I just digress for like
Yes.
a minute?
Yep.
You guys like skip through Uppington, and then I'll tell you guys a funny story. I have a fear of like grasshoppers, and
Why? Why?
no,
Grass-
listen. And Uppington has
and now someone knows it's here because you have a fear of
no,
grasshopper.
nobody
What are
knows.
the chances?
But like Uppington has, I would say, the hub of grasshoppers, and the runway was filled with all these grasshoppers, and I was having the biggest panic attack. All my colleagues were laughing at me. They're like, "It's a grasshopper!" Like kicking them around, and I'm like, I can't even do a pre-flight because there's grasshoppers everywhere. So yeah, that was the highlight of my trip actually.
Was this in summertime that you
That
guys?
yeah, it was. It was in summertime.
Okay.
So they were all over the runway.
Okay. We didn't see a
We-
single.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Dry
Or maybe we
bone
didn't
dry.
pay attention to it.
Yeah, because you guys
No,
don't
I
have
would
a
have seen
phobia.
because
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I also have. A
That's interesting. Why are you scared of grasshoppers?
It's a long
Like
story, but I'm really scared of like anything grasshopper family oriented. So it's like a grasshopper, a locust.
Locusts.
the crickets.
Oh, you get it. It's like,
You're also scared of locusts.
Yeah, locusts.
Why?
Oh,
Why are you scared
I
of
can't.
this stuff?
yeah, and they were
I
filled.
can't.
It was like grasshoppers and locusts all over the runway,
Yeah.
all over like the open space. I was like, I can't.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, but anyway, fast
I,
forward.
I would have
It's a good-
noticed.
It's a good thing that.
Yeah, it was a very good thing that there were no locusts. So that it'll be interesting what you guys had said on when you were transitioning to Langaban. But there's another guy I follow on YouTube. He's also on Instagram. Have I forgotten his name? Yes, I have.
You'll put You'll.
I'll put
You'll
his
tag him,
name.
yeah.
Yes, just like last time. But he makes videos about flying across South Africa or different places in South Africa. So he went through Langaban, going to Cape Town as well. So I actually learned from him when I was doing my hour building. I learned from him how to talk on the radio for specific VFR arrival procedures. We'll plug him into the video. Okay, so for us, we had that challenge of there's no fuel in Springbok, and then there was also weather. And then also Cape Town International was calibrating Charlie Tango Victor, the VOR station. And so they were only allowing IFR traffic, which is a bit odd that you only allow IFR traffic
When
When you're calibrating.
when they're calibrating. When they're calibrating
Something the traffic needs.
So they were only allowing IFR traffic local time. It was 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So our arrival time was going to be somewhere in there. So we couldn't even be allowed into Cape Town International Airport. So now we had to come up with an alternative airport to land in the Cape Town area. That's one. Two, we were not sure if we'd be able to make it there with the weather, so we needed to find another airport which is closer to Cape Town so that we can make a decision closer to the time. Because obviously weather is dynamic. And then three, what was the third? Oh, the fuel situation. So we need to find another airport which had fuel that could provide us. And lo and behold, we came to the conclusion Beaufort West was the place to go. And then we had what was the final decision? We said Beaufort West was going to be the go no go point. If we are not able to go to Cape Town, where were we going to go? Do you remember?
We're going to stay at both of us. I remember when we took off, the decision was when we get to both of us, we'll decide, are we continuing or are we just going to stay here?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So would either stay in Beaufort West, or actually would continue to George, or we would continue to Port Elizabeth. You may have not even been present.
Wait,
for that
wait.
point.
Let me get it right. George is on the west of Cape Town,
George is on the east of Cape Town.
east of Cape Town.
Yes.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
I was wondering why you're flying west and then coming
Back
back
that way.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, George is on the east. It's on the way to Port Elizabeth,
Yeah, okay.
so to speak. So that was going to be because Beaufort West was basically at the midpoint between those three destinations. We that was going to be the decision we would make. However, all of us, well, particularly me, but I think all of us wanted to make it to Cape Town. You know,
That is the highlight. I mean,
that is the highlight.
if you're going for the flyaway and you don't make it to Cape Town, then you'd rather just stay in Pretoria.
Exactly. Exactly. So, but luckily for us, so we took off, and we had no idea if we would still make it to Cape Town at the end of the day. We took off with a decision that we can try and make it to Cape Winelands in the Cape Town area. Cape Winelands is owned by a billionaire. What's his name now? Plug him in, or plug him into the video.
The name is gone.
We're gonna plug him into the video. I'm going to be known for the guy that the guy who forgets all everyone's names. Okay, plug him. So then, so Cape Winelands, beautiful airport. It's been turned into the Lanseria of what? Lanseria of Cape Town, right? And what did the manager say? Oh, well, now we're telling the point that we actually did make it to Cape Town. Yes, we did. We did actually make it to Cape Town.
We made it.
We did make it, thank goodness. Cape Winelands, it was even a better choice. The landing fees, a lot cheaper. Apparently would have paid like 6,000 Rand for landing fees at Cape Town International Airport. And then Cape Winelands, I think, is like 1,000 or something for the 6 aircraft that we had. And then also it's just a lot easier as a VFR arrival procedure. You don't have to, you're not going through controlled airspace, right? So there was just a better airport altogether to go to. So the point is, when we got to Beaufort West, we met some people there. We met some famous people there. Did you know who we met? Do you know Sipo Manganese? If I'm butchering your name, Askis.
Maybe she was, is it a he or she? He could be there privately and then you are here saying he was there.
Sipo Askis. So, yeah, no, he's an advocate for aviation in South Africa. He used to go on radio shows and TV shows quite a lot, actually. Okay. In fact, that recent one that I was on SABC, he was supposed to be there. But then him and a friend of his, the Flying Jurist, who's another YouTuber, got in touch with me and said, hey, I can't make it to this show. Please, could you go on my behalf? I said, yep. Thank you very much. So anyways, he's an advocate. Great guy. Good time there. After Beaufort West, we took off, still not knowing if we would make it to Cape Town. Because there was still weather. The whole airport thing, the situation ticked. That was okay. We could still go with the airport. The weather situation was the issue. So on the way there, we were getting in touch with Cape Town Information, I believe, to say, hey, how's the weather there? Oh, yeah, there's a couple of clouds, but it's still okay. Halfway there, we can see these clouds. And we're thinking, are these clouds covering the whole Cape Town Bay, right? We will not be able to descend into the Bay area. But lo and behold, when we got there, it was just a couple of scattered clouds. We got in, and yeah. And
I think it also helped. There was an aircraft that actually did report and say, nah, it's cool.
Yes, there was yes, exactly. There was an aircraft that gave a pilot's report stating that the weather is good. The approach into Winelands, that was interesting. How did you find that?
Well, it's a different conversation because, you're going into new territory. You've never been there. And you also just planned for this airfield the night before. Yes. So it was okay.
That final approach, how did you?
The final approach.
I was acting too much like an instructor there. I forget I'm with a PPL holder here. And
no,
here
which you have
overbearing myself.
To be honest, you see, if I was to fly with someone, for example, a more experienced person, you see, with experience, it comes some comfort. You see, like the way you're experienced, going to a new place, you'll be very comfortable going there. I, as a PPL holder, still trying to build my hours. If you were to take me to a very unfamiliar territory, first thing I'll be loaded, like high workload, so I might end up miss a point or two. But you, because of your experience, you might compensate for that. So
Yeah,
sometimes it's always-
now-
yeah.
I mean, while I did appreciate it,
Yeah.
the thing is, okay, here's the thing. Approaches are sensitive. So personally, as an individual, I want to get to a certain level of comfort, and mentally in my head, I do prepare myself, and you know, I account for what it is that I'm going to do.
So basically, what we needed more there was MCC, multi-crew cooperation,
Yeah.
than instructor
Student, instructor,
student relationship. We needed an MCC type of relationship there. So, like I said, I was a bit overbearing. And landings are landings. A person, she knows how to land, and she has her own way of landing, her own technique, her own specific flap configuration that she lands much more comfortably and efficiently.
And you also have a way of doing things.
Of doing
She has a way of doing
Yeah.
things. Each person has a way of doing things.
And the most important thing when you're coming into land is for the person landing to be comfortable in what they're doing
What they're
and
doing,
be
yeah.
sure.
Exactly. So that's where the overbearingness affected her landing, because obviously I had my way of landing and she had her way of landing.
Oh, so you're there like, okay, 65.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep 65 on the speed.
Do this.
I'll give you 4 flaps.
No,
And
you
what
know,
were
you know, I thought.
thinking during that time, Pauline? Like,
Okay, the thing
while
is,
Koso was being this Mr. Instructor guy,
Yeah.
you were like, dude, can you chill? Like, what's up?
You
Let
know,
me fly this plane.
while you were explaining it, I thought maybe it was a high load scenario, because when you're going to a new place, I remember when I was doing ILS approach in Lanseria as part of the training. Yes, I know how to land. It's something I've been doing over and over again, perfecting it during the what is it called, the hour building. And then all of a sudden realize there's a lot of things in your mind already. You've been there trying to be on the glide slope, being on the localizer, so that when it comes to flare, all of a sudden your brain is like freezing. So that was the hardest landing I've done, I think, in the last 2 years. So I thought it's the same similar situation of a high workload scenario.
So you're right. It was in a sense of, so what was sort of tricky with that approach is that there were some trees on final approach and the runway is short.
Yeah.
And so you come over the trees and then you have to now sink,
You have to
And then
increase the rate
flare.
of descent, yeah.
right? So that's why in my mind, I took the idea of full flaps, high drag, high lift device, which
and yeah.
allows you to sink. So
Or was it
and
like the St. Bart's? You know the St. Bart's? The one in
Yes,
near
yes,
Princess
yes.
Juliana, yeah. Was it the same scenario? Where you
I
have
mean,
to come?
not as drastic as,
Yeah.
as that type of drop, but it had some form of element to it. And this actually makes me think of now when you are in not only an airline, MCC situation, where there's standard procedures for working together. So if you're flying to an airport that has a high glide slope or steep approach, there's a specific procedure that both of us know and know what to do together to land there. In that situation, we haven't experienced MCC together. In fact, that was the first time I was flying with you, that trip. So we still have our separate own methodologies, and so
There's no standard operating procedures.
there was no standard operating procedure. There was just independent operating procedures.
Yeah.
And obviously, because he's an instructor, he has more experience. I respected his opinion, but the thing that we have to take into account
Wow. Did you hear that, Mr. Marumo?
I
She
did.
respected your
is, yeah, I
I
truly valued him being by my side throughout the whole trip. I really appreciate that. I don't know if I said thank you, but thank you.
You're welcome.
Aw.
Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it.
So I trusted his judgment. But the thing that we had to account for was how comfortable I was with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So me as a person landing, I wasn't that comfortable with it, but I trusted him nonetheless.
Yeah.
We did land.
You did the landing?
Yeah,
It was a safe landing.
it was a very safe landing.
Yeah. That's all
The
that
thing is,
matters.
as
Yeah.
pilots, we like to make smooth landings.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we like to grease.
Yes.
It wasn't the greasiest of landings, but we
It was
landed
a safe
good.
landing.
Yeah.
Durban, I shut up.
Wow.
Durban, I
Does
did
it
shut
mean
up.
you were talking
Okay.
all the way?
Yeah.
Wait,
No.
so let me get this right. You guys flew together throughout the whole flyaway?
Throughout.
Yeah. The
Why
way
is
we-
that? Let me just.
It's a very
digress for
good. It's a
minute.
very good point because I remember I think it was from East London where was it Louis switched with Salah. Salah went into OHN and then Louis went into CAF. Yes, you know, none of us even thought about
Yeah.
No, I'm just asking because I think for us, we made it a point to switch safety pilots.
really.
I think it was nice to fly with everybody and have different experiences with everybody at each
yeah.
different leg. And what I might learn from Mr. Marumo, I'll definitely not learn it from somebody else, or somebody does something a bit different. I think it was, but it was fun.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea actually. I think for all of us, we just had a good
Yeah, like we
Establishment
got
of
in,
who
we
you got
established
along with in
Yeah.
the
terms of
environment
cockpit
we were
dynamics.
in, and we're
stick
like,
with the person that we.
Okay, but that's again, you get what I mean. Like you don't just stick to one person. Try and diversify a bit. Yeah.
And that's actually a very good learning point because in any transport operation that you're in,
Yeah.
you're not flying with the same person day in,
Yes.
day out.
Exactly.
So it's actually a very good learning point to have on a flyaway. Oh well, we're done. So
Yeah. We did it.
we're here. We're here.
I'm still at the point where you're saying you stopped talking in Durban. So are you talking all the
Yes,
way?
yes. No, the Durban approach, I did shut up because learning from the Cape Town one, because Durban has a similar, Virginia has a similar setup where there are trees, and then now you have to kind of like come in, you dive in a little bit, and then
Steep descent, yeah.
land. So in that situation, I was like, I'll let her land the way that she likes to land. And it worked because it was a smooth landing actually. And then we vacated before because I think either OHN or CAF was ahead of us
Yep.
when they landed.
They vacated
They
way
vacated
ahead,
at the end,
and
then
we were able to
vacated.
make it very short
Yeah.
and vacate early.
Yeah. So Cape Town International Airport, Lady Maverick. Maverick. How was the arrival into Cape Town International? Because we didn't land there, so we don't know.
The arrival was, for me personally, I had to hold. I had to hold for like 30 minutes because, again, there was like bigger aircrafts coming in. That was different because I was holding at a very low altitude than what I'm used to here in Wonderboom.
Do you remember what that
And-
altitude was?
Pardon?
Do you remember what that altitude was?
It must have been like
500 feet.
less than 1,000.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And that's low for me
Mm.
because I'm going around in circles. I'm a bit, this is the first time being at this airport. I really just want to make sure I land safely and execute everything safely and I don't mess it up for other people. But yeah, I held for like maybe 30, 45 minutes and then, I landed.
Did you guys? Oh, you guys came from the north.
Yes.
So you went through. I don't know how to pronounce that Air Force base. How is Y pronounced in Afrikaans? I know it's the Yettesplit.
Yes, that one that you're talking about.
Yes.
I'm also gonna butcher the name, so I'm not even gonna attempt to like.
With our Afrikaner viewers, we apologize.
Yes, if we butcher any names, but yes.
Yeah.
Again, when I jog my memory, I can't really remember the exact VFR reporting points
Yeah.
or whatever. But yeah, we came in from the north,
Okay.
and it was
From what I remember, it's you go through the Air Force Base and then you hold overhead. It's somewhere just to the east of the mountain, of Table Mountain. You hold there and then you route directly from the west of the airport to join downwind, I believe. Either it's left hand for runway 01 or right hand for what? Did you guys 01 or
I
1?
can't remember. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then now you are on final approach. How did it feel? Final approach, Cape Town International.
Liberating.
Yeah.
I remember when I landed, it was like, wow, we are in Cape Town, guys. Okay, we've just landed. I've just landed. Okay, right after this big aircraft. Like, I also deserve to be here. It was great. Honestly, it was great.
Where did you guys park?
We parked at it's a flight school called, is it a flight school? Yeah, it is a flight school, like a flight training.
Oh,
let me
we
jog
can't
my
we can't name
memory.
names.
Yeah, I can't name names, but
Can't
yes,
name
it
names.
yes, it was a flight school.
Good.
And the most interesting thing I'd like to know, okay, I was speaking to one of my instructors again.
Yes.
Not mentioning names. And he was telling me of this one experience with Cape Town and work turbulence. And we were just having a discussion around work turbulence, which most of the students won't ever get to experience in
That's
Wonderboom.
true. That's
But
true.
once you go to the bigger airports like Bloemfontein and at least
There is
Bloemfontein,
a wake turbulence factor.
There's yeah, but something as busy as Cape Town. What was the separation like? Did you receive caution wake turbulence and
Especially
did you go
taking
about
off, was there? Did you guys take off one after the other, or was there a heavy aircraft that came in, or
Yes, they definitely maintained that 3-minute
separation?
So yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I think it gets us. You see, the 3 minutes, I remember when I was doing my PPL and we were having the same airport we were operating from, there was the Dash 8s operating as well, the Q400. And I remember there was adequate separation of almost about, I think, 5 minutes. But because it was still air, the turbulence was just
It was like
just within. It wasn't gone. So on the final approach, just about to touch down, all of a sudden the aircraft just ballooned way up, gaining almost 500 feet, and then all of a sudden the airport becomes stable. Have you had like a similar experience in Cape Town, or was it?
I mean, we
it was
landed in
rem-
Winelands, so we that was a pure general aviation airport.
Okay.
The largest aircraft we had there was a King Air, and I was even surprised at that. I guess King Air has a very good landing distance capability.
Okay.
But the other airport was George, but we landed ahead of one Airlink, one Safair and one Airlink.
Yes.
In fact, they told us to, because we were supposed to route to a certain reporting point, then turn northbound to the airport, join downwind right hand for whatever the runway is.
And then they were like, the big boys are coming, so
Yes.
you better
Can you please hurry up?
you
and
better land.
Can you route directly to the base position? In fact, route directly to final approach of the runway. 1-1 it is actually. And then there was a big learning curve as well, just in the descent. We didn't plan the top of descent well
We did not
at all, because we were so used to here
time-
in the Gauteng area, where the elevation is 4,000, 5,000 feet, and you're flying at perhaps 3,000 feet above ground level. Whereas when we took off from Cape Town, we went up to flight level 085. No, was it?
we
It
went
was.
high. I think we went
Or
to
95 or something.
was it though?
It was very high.
All I know is we went high.
I think it was 95.
Basically, you're almost 9,000 feet above.
We were 9,000 feet above the ground. And so we were coming close to the TMA, and we were going to route under the TMA. And so we we began our top of descent a bit too late.
Yeah.
And even the Cape Town information controller was like,
Are you sure you're going to?
exactly. And then
Are you
we
sure
were
you're gonna
like,
make it?
yeah, we
we'll
will.
make it.
Full flaps.
This is where
And then we
GF
began-
training came into play. Side
Yeah.
slips and
Literally, full flaps.
Sometimes you can just like hold over a point, like a VFR point. Just do
Well,
your
we were trying to
descent.
avoid circle. We wanted to still
Spiral descent, yeah.
head in towards our direction, so
Yeah.
we started to do S turns, but still rooting
While descending,
towards
yeah.
it was a steep
destination.
descent.
So that was a big learning curve.
Yeah.
That, we forgot to plan our top of descent.
Which
you
is
guys
a very
for-
interesting thing
yeah.
because it's rarely emphasized when you're doing your PPL training about the top of descent. You speak about it,
Yeah.
but vaguely.
Yeah.
But I think in the planning, that emphasis of having your top of climb and top of descent,
Yes.
it will be very good for future personal flights to
Yeah.
areas, unknown areas. Yeah.
And then there's obviously mental arithmetic for. Sorry, I'm seeing. It's gonna be included in the video. Hi. So there's obviously mental arithmetic for to plan your top of descent.
Yeah.
I can't quite remember it right now. Something about 30 nautical miles out, or 30 minutes out times 3, something like that. where you can plan how much distance you have to be to begin.
And then also the flight level. Like, was it necessary to go that high?
Kind
Why
of.
did we go that high?
Well, first of all,
It was the mountains.
the
mountain range from Cape Town.
and
to cross them.
You're not routing along the coast or something.
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
So we had to cross the mountain range, and then I think from there we just thought. it's
and
fine.
also for a bit of speed because we had some.
It
serious
was for
winds.
speed as well because of the winds. It was better because some people started off at lower levels. Then they were telling us that ground speed wasn't very good. Then they climbed and said, "Yeah, it's much better at this altitude." So ground speed was a humongous factor.
That factor, yeah.
Mhm.
Because with a leg that long, the last thing you want is to go into your reserve fuel. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. So that's George, and then
Lady
we went.
Maverick, did you also fly that high? When you're going to George?
Did you say Lady Maverick?
No. No, we didn't fly that high.
Lady Maverick.
You said Lady Maverick.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
What did you think he said?
I don't know.
No, we
Nobody's
didn't fly
gonna
that
know.
high. Leaving Cape Town, we just routed along the coast.
All the way to George.
Yeah, there's an Air Force base right next to.
Did you go through the? Oh,
yeah,
you
we
guys
went.
went south.
Yeah, we went south.
Through that. What airport did you guys go to now? You went past Somerset,
Yeah.
and then that Air Force Overberg.
Overberg.
You transitioned through Overberg.
Yeah.
Wait,
Oh, you
because
guys
the reason why I would go to Cape Town and fly along the coast, like how all these mountains that are here, crossing every day. So if I was flying at the coast, I'd probably keep low level, 1,500 feet along the coast.
Well, I
all
tell
the
you
way.
what, we did that from
I
where
think
was it?
I think
George.
from George, that's when we really started to
to do the low level.
Yeah. Run.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
that's the
yeah.
idea about flying along the coast. You want to.
Because there
You
was
want
a
to see the
reason we
coast.
didn't go to the coast directly from Cape Town.
There is a reason. I know the reason. I'm not going to say the reason.
Okay.
But there is a reason why
So
we
we had a
didn't do that.
reason why we would have liked to, but
okay.
obviously, when you're on a flight every night before the next day, every night we gather and then we discuss, we talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what's changed according to the planning. What should we do? What. So and then, the best decision was to follow the routing that we ended up choosing.
So another question, like, were you flying up to night hours or was it just restricted?
It was
to
day. It was all day VFR.
So typical departure time, give or take.
Which I think should have been a bit. Sorry to interrupt you. Which I think some of them should have been a bit of night hours because that's the whole point of our building, right? It's,
To get all
some
I
the
think
night hours
that-
in.
yeah.
particularly the Johannesburg to Bloom and Bloom to
Yeah,
up
because that
until-
one is it's super safe. We're really high. Nothing could possibly happen. But
Because if you asked me, I really want to approach Cape Town at night.
The problem with Cape
Just
Town
for the
at
approach
night-
lights.
The
I like
problem
the
with
approach
Cape
lights.
Town at night.
Yeah.
Well, it depends where if you're coming from the north, then it's okay. But if you're coming from the east of Cape Town, that's very dangerous.
The mountains.
The MSA, I don't even think you can. You would need to have pressurized aircraft, I
To
think,
outclimb them.
to be able to go above the MSA. So that's the biggest issue. Yeah, but yes, agreed. Night hours are definitely needed. Coastwise, flying coastwise, very fun.
Very. It was
Low level,
beautiful.
very fun.
No thermal turbulence.
No,
Was there?
it was actually
Over the water?
okay.
It was beautiful.
It
There
It
was
was okay.
zero turbulence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Approaching Port Elizabeth or Gqeberha, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. But approaching it, the controller, I think the controller of the day wasn't really prepared for us. It wasn't I don't know, but it felt as if he wasn't ready for us. Because now we were kept on, we were initially positioned for the downwind left hand of runway 08. And then as we were approaching to join, and we're coming from the south, as we were approaching to join downwind, then he told us, no, a bit to the left. Right, so we went to the left, and then we
I think that's why we followed PYT.
we followed
Yeah.
Papa Yankee Tango, yeah. And Then we were routing south. Then he told us turn right. I was like, right to where? That's turn right. Let's head in. Follow P Papa Yankee Tango. I said, okay, that's fine. Then the OHN was also he was routing OHN somewhere because there was an airlink flight coming in. And then, okay.
It was interesting.
Oh, that was interesting. But eventually we were positioned for the base leg, left hand for runway 08, and we landed. And then the vacating the runway, it was so unexpected. We had this small taxiway to the left-hand side of 08. The small taxi. Do you remember it?
The very, very small
Yeah,
one
the
we couldn't see up until we actually got there. I was like, oh, okay.
Is this it?
Oh, this
Is this
okay.
the taxi we were vacating on? So that was it. And then we went from that taxiway, you go straight into the general aviation parking area. So that was nice. That was nice. Lady Maverick, Port Elizabeth for you guys. How was that?
Port Elizabeth, super easy. I know you guys are probably sounding like, Lady Maverick says everything is super easy. But no, I think, it was nice.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
It was
pretty
nice.
straightforward. I don't know. I stand to be corrected, but Port Elizabeth also, the runway is like parallel to the coast. So
Yes,
you
yes,
can
yes.
kind of like just get a bit inland and then land.
Yes,
So
that's it.
that
That's it.
was pretty basic.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
for the most part.
So would you say the VFR, because basically a lot of these airports, controlled airports, the experience was VFR arrival procedures.
Yes.
Is it as tough as, if no one's flown a VFR arrival procedure, is it as tough as one makes it out to be?
What do you mean? What is as tough as? What do you mean by that?
So, for example, you have to report at certain reporting points
No, actually.
and certain altitudes.
No, I think that's super easy because VFR is very lenient. If you can't make it at this certain reporting point, it's fine. There's always an alternative. There's always different ways to enter into the aerodrome that you want to land at. So VFR is, you can see, so you should be happy. I don't know, Donald. I mean, am I?
All the airports I've been routing outside Pretoria. I've been contacting the approach for Lokwane approach, Bloemfontein approach. So it was quite easy because.
Okay. All right, guys. Welcome back to the third segment of this podcast. We've been trying so hard. We've been doing this podcast since 10 or so a.m. and it's
10.
2 o'clock now.
3 hours.
But we're delivering this content for you guys. So, last part of the trip. Let's wrap it up actually, because this podcast has been going on. Durban. That was fun. Durban was fun.
Yeah, Durban was fun. It was calm. It was calm, yeah.
Approach to Durban was fun, and just Durban we didn't go far from the airport.
We didn't get to experience it much like.
The hotel.
But the hotel.
Oh my.
The rooms were gorgeous.
What? Where did
Lady
you guys
Maverick.
stay?
You're making
'Cause I'm
someone
not
jealous.
getting jealous.
Lady Maverick, there's a video we have to show you of the hotel. Oh.
First of
It
all,
is.
where did you guys stay?
I'm trying to remember the name, but it's
Palm something.
And I remember that was the first thing you showed me when you landed. After the
yeah, the name is gone, but it was beautiful. Each room was literally like a penthouse.
Apartment. It was an
Wow.
Yeah.
apartment. We had the bedrooms were upstairs.
Yeah.
Upstairs. This is a hotel. Upstairs.
Like you walk in, there's a whole kitchen area.
Yeah.
There's a dining area. There's a whole
Then there's a balcony.
living room. There's a balcony with a sitting area. You
Then you
go
go
upstairs.
upstairs.
2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms.
Wow.
and
was-
and one
yeah.
bedroom is ensuite. It's got a bath where the windows the windows
Yeah, it had
open
little
up
like
to the bedroom.
shutlets, yeah.
And then
Super
you-
bougie.
And
You
it
have a
also had a
personal-
balcony as well.
A what?
A balcony as well.
a personal balcony.
Yeah.
Yo, when I woke up that morning, I was just like, these sheets.
That beds were
Egyptian
comfy.
cotton.
Oh my
my
gosh.
sheets super clean,
That bath, I
luxurious.
opened the windows. I was like, pour the water.
Ooh.
I'm gonna relax in here. Then you can see the TV. I was there for a good like 20 minutes in the bath, watching TV. Balcony door open.
Yeah.
Oh
It
my,
was nice.
lovely.
And also
So,
the area, the strip was nice because this was the hotel,
Uh-huh.
and then literally you cross the road,
Mhm.
and there's all these restaurants and
The
nice
Indian food there
I mean,
is
that's the hub of
oh.
Indian cuisine.
right?
Yes.
It's like,
Durban.
yeah.
Indian cuisine #1.
That's
I had to
amazing.
take some takeaway and I took it with me on
What
the
did you
plane.
guys order? Like naan bread and
I
like
can't even
curry
remember.
and whatever.
Yeah, naan bread definitely.
Yeah.
And some sort of butter chicken. Somebody ordered butter
Ooh.
chicken. But then there was another one which we ordered and oh no, you guys were not.
We
Now
didn't
you,
come
you
to
guys
that
are making me
restaurant.
want to go to Durban next
You
weekend.
have to. You have to. The flight there, because we did low level initially, and
Yep.
then we climbed because the winds were better there. But it was a sunset arrival. It was so
It was
beautiful.
pretty.
The stay was beautiful,
Mm.
and then I think at that point everyone was just done. It was just
Yeah,
like
We,
everybody's
let's-
tired
we
by
just
then.
wanted to come home.
Everybody's tired. Everybody's like, tomorrow's home time and we're ready to go.
we are going. We're not even stopping over
Mm?
at Newcastle as a fuel stop
Mm.
because the winds were in our favor. We had a tailwind. It
You
was
had
great.
enough fuel for one moment alternate.
Full tanks were like,
We had enough.
we're
We
going
had
straight.
enough. So yeah, let's wrap it up. Conclusion. Highs and lows for you for that trip.
The radio issue was, kind of.
Yes.
But other than that, I like that it didn't really stop the experience as a whole. It was beautiful. The flight itself, it was actually my first time going to the coast. It was the first time I managed to go to the beach in my life. So it was, yeah.
You didn't say this when we were there.
But
Well,
I
of
thought
course
I
she
did.
can't say it. I agree you guys have all been to the beach. So she hasn't been there. She's
You
just like,
know.
let me just like keep quiet.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
I really, really enjoyed it. It was gorgeous. I managed to get some good hours.
You did.
Mm-hmm.
25.9 to be exact. Because I was doing I was logging.
He was on top of it.
Every time we
Wow.
Like
landed.
my
I
safety
said,
pilot was.
I
was
was
on
like
top of
Pauline.
everything.
Log the hours.
Look.
Literally,
Log
when we
hours.
arrived, all I had to do was just leave.
Yeah.
Cause
Yeah, because we were just done.
we were done.
We were done.
Yeah.
Okay, one low for you. Oh no, we already said the low.
Yeah.
And the high. Okay, so for Lady Maverick, what was the high and the low or the challenge for you?
The high was the experience as a whole. I think I didn't think I was going to be able to land and take off at all these big international
Airports,
airports
yeah.
and then the low I would say
This guy.
excuse
We
them.
call him the team leader.
The low was the challenging times. I think we all had challenging times, and there was a big learning. You know, when you're going through a learning experience, you feel like, oh my gosh, why me? But then after that, you just feel like, oh, that was
You
a
get
learning
comfortable.
experience, and yeah,
Boosted your confidence
It
levels.
did, because
for
now I'm
long
like,
flights. I
we
can go
ride-
anywhere.
I can go anywhere.
Literally.
During the planning, you're scared about all these new airspaces, how you're going to tackle them. But then you do it, and you're like, huh, I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually not so bad.
Yeah, it's not
At
To be
all.
honest, there are more highs than lows, and I don't
Yeah.
think lows are actually lows. They're just learning experiences.
Yes,
And
exactly.
why
Yeah.
Exactly.
I encourage anybody that's given the opportunity to go on a flyaway to actually go, because that's the whole purpose. Make mistakes, learn, you become better.
You definitely do. I mean, you're basically doing what is called TEM, threat and error management,
Yeah.
which is a piloting concept. So the threats are your external environment, and the errors are your own personal errors that you make along the trip. And essentially, you're just trying to minimize those threats and errors. As human beings, we will make errors at any given point in time. The point is just, can you rectify those errors? And once you do, it's fine. So be comfortable in the fact that you're making errors, and that, as long as you're able to rectify them,
Yes.
you'll be okay.
Absolutely.
So on that note, Donald, any concluding
I-
from what
I
you've learned
can't-
from this?
Yeah, I
What-
can't make any conclusion because I've not experienced the thing yet. But based from what I've heard, I think I should.
You should.
It's
Whenever,
worth
whenever
it.
there is next opportunity, I will hop in quickly.
And flyaways are not only for those in training. The flying clubs where people organize a trip and just go somewhere, right? So it can be for a fun experience as well. And it's fun when you're flying in a group. You talk on numbers, and Lady Maverick is now get into the sun, and
Yes, and Lady Maverick does not like the sun.
Lady Maverick does not like the sun. So, but yeah, it's such a fun experience. You know, you're talking with each other along the way. You're supporting each other. You're having fun. We
And
had
also you're
some good
learning
fun
a
going
lot.
from Uppington to Beaufort West. That was a laugh.
I can only imagine.
Let's just say a fellow colleague needed the bathroom along the way and had to detour.
Oh no!
Had to detour to another airport.
We don't know who that is. That's fine.
We don't know who that
I
is.
know who that
We don't know who that is. But that was, guys, go to the bathroom before the
Flight.
flight. 1,
When
2,
you
don't
pre-flight,
eat spicy
pre-flight
food the
yourself
night
first.
before.
Wait, you have to be specific. Unless you're flying a Boeing or an Airbus.
Okay, but no,
Okay.
no. But now if you've eaten spicy food and you're going on a long flight on a
Yeah.
Boeing or on an Airbus,
You'd
Not-
prefer not to.
you're gonna disturb other people on the flight. So let's
That's true.
Let's be
That's true.
considerate.
let's not. So guys, just make sure that your metabolism is stable for the takeoff and the approach to your destination.
But do you know how people cross the oceans with these aircrafts? Okay, not the 172, the 182. They usually have an entire crew, everything. Like you literally have everything on you. It's very interesting.
Yeah, there's a mobile.
Cross.
I mean, it's a very good point. There's
Yeah.
like a mobile bathroom type of, not bathroom,
But-
facility
Yeah.
that you that you take with you. So that's a conversation for another day. We would like to. That's one way to end the podcast, but we would like to. We would like to thank our host. I can't end it like that, but we are. Would like to thank our host once again, Eagle Air, for allowing us to use the facilities, and I'd like to thank our guests on board, Pauline, and as well as Lady Maverick.
Lady Maverick was just ambushed, and here she is.
Lady Maverick, we just exactly. She graciously, what's the word?
I
Allowed-
cave.
Oh, thank you.
my gosh.
Oh my word. That's
That's
how
why
you.
we had such an interesting trip.
Again, this is how you end the podcast. So thank you once again for our guests for
Thank
coming
you
on
for
board.
having us.
Thank you for the hours that we have just spent in doing this. So we appreciate both your presence here. So guys, this is Hangar Talk,
Episode 2.
Episode 2.
Yeah.
And we will see you on the next one.
Do
Thank you.
not forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell that you can be notified
Lady
every single time
Maverick.
Hangar Talks, is that what it's called? Has an episode dropping. So yeah, guys, bye.
Bye.
Bye.